We're gonna learn about how to add CSS to your HTML documents. So this is the last video. So here we have the HTML document, and there are three ways you can add CSS to it. One is called internal, inline, and external. So the inline means inside the actual HTML tag with the style attribute. So this right here, we added our CSS in here, so that is inline. It's in the attribute. So we already did this. Another way to do that is internal. And internal is basically we are gonna copy all of our CSS. So copy all that, and now instead of writing inside a single element, we're gonna write inside the document. So in the header section of the document, you can write a style element, and inside that style you select whatever you want to style. So in this case h1, and then you basically write it there. So now if we see it, actually let me run this. If I run that, now we can see it still works. So let me actually see how you kind of would do that, but we can see that it works. And if we make changes, for example, let's make this end, you can see how that went there. So now this works. So this is not inline, this is the internal. It's internal the document by selecting attribute. If we wanna now another difference between these two is when we had in here, we could only access the h1. What if we wanted the paragraph to look identical? We couldn't be able to do that. We would have to copy the code and also put it in here. But now we can just do comma b. And if I save the change, now the paragraph is the same. So that is advantage the internal adds. Now you might be wondering, this is all great, but what if you wanted to use the CSS inside another document, right? Because we could have, let's say, another HTML files. What if we wanted to use? Then we would have to copy. What if we don't want to copy? Then that's where the external comes in. External, basically we create a whole file called style. So we could have a file here called style.css. So it's a CSS file, and we can just copy everything in here and remove this because we don't need that. And now if I save this went away, right? Now we have to actually link to the CSS file. So inside the header, the same place we just removed from it, could have a link. The link has style sheet and a reference of the location of the file. So if I say it's this file style, if I save my changes, boom, you see it works. So now since CSS is a whole other file, if we had another, let's say we had good.html, another file, and let me actually copy everything here because it's just another HTML file. Save this, call it good page. I don't have to do anything because we're still accessing the CSS file. So if I actually, let me run this. Now we're inside the good page. This is the home page with the change, the good page with the change. So now we can actually reuse single file in multiple places. So that are the three different ways to write it and their advantages. Now you might be thinking, this looks all great, but what if for example inside good, which we're in, what if we had another? Can we have another here? What if I say text is equal to color is equal to white, and if I save that, now you see the code actually changed. So here we have two different scenarios. We have one style sheet that we get from outside and one style sheet inside the style. So we're using both external and inline style sheets. So the element picks the closest CSS. So this is the closest CSS. So it will pick this one. And if you have, we could still have another style here. So we could still have this, where we call for example B, and then we can give, actually let me call the h1 to kind of demonstrate the point. So called background color green. If I save this, now you see the background color is green because this background color is closer than this background color, right? So it becomes the closest. And if we actually do a color, let's make the color black, and if I save this, you see we don't use the black color because this white is closer. So it picks first in line. If there are no inline, it picks here. If there is no here, it picks external. Now you should never override this, but if you actually wanted to, you could do important. Now if I save, it actually takes this one. So important forces a specific one. So you could have important, for example, inside here. So in the yellow, we could have important. And if I save this, now it becomes yellow. But you should never use that because that is very confusing to other developers. Yeah, that's all I wanted to cover this video. See you in the next one. Bye.